Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take rich source material and really pull out the most vital insights for you.
That's right.
So what is love? I mean, it's this huge question, isn't it? It echoes through time, inspires everything from pop songs to deep philosophy. And the world gives us just so many definitions, it feels like. It can get pretty confusing, honestly. But what if the complete understanding isn't out there in the usual places? What if it's somewhere more ancient, more profound? For this deep dive, we're looking at a really powerful source. It's a deep analysis straight from the Old and New Testament biblical texts. And this material, it basically proposes this foundational idea that only God, who the text says actually is love, can give us that true, complete, perfect definition. So our mission today is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge about love, its nature, its characteristics, how it's expressed, all according to God's own description in these texts. Okay, let's try and unpack this.
Right. And it's a big topic. So where we start, according to the source, is right at the core. God himself. We'll look how his actual nature defines love. Then we'll journey through some Old Testament foundations, uncover these really powerful New Testament revelations through Christ, look at different kinds of love. And this is key, see how understanding all this can, practically change your everyday life. Because the real question is, how does getting this idea of love truly change? Well, everything.
That's a huge claim. And it starts, like you said, with something surprisingly simple. The source goes right to 1 John, and it's crystal clear. God is love. And that's not just saying God does loving things or even that he has love. It's his essence, who he is.
Exactly. It's fundamental. His nature, his character. It's who he is. And the implications of that phrase, God is love, they're pretty staggering when you think about it.
Yeah.
It means he's not just a source of love. He's the divine origin of all true love. So this source suggests loving others becomes like a spiritual indicator. Proof you belong to God's family, that you know him personally. It's about identity, transformation. Living in love means God lives in us and we live in him. It's this deep connection.
So for you listening, what does this mean? It means God's love isn't just some abstract theological point. It's real. It's personal. It's something you can actually know and rely on, something tangible. Okay, so to really grasp this, we need to go back, way back, to the Old Testament. God's loving nature was revealed long before the New Testament.
Absolutely. The source points first to God's covenant love. Deuteronomy 7:9, it calls him the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love for, get this, 1,000 generations.
Wow, 1,000 generations. It's enduring isn't even the word.
Right. It's faithful, reliable. It stretches across time to your kids, their kids. It's a promise that just won't break.
And that enduring thing, it's not just theoretical. Think about Psalm 136. That line, his love endures forever. It says it 26 times in one psalm.
Mm-hmm. It really hammers home that constant, unfailing, abundant, universal nature of his love. It just keeps going.
Then there's the compassionate side. Psalm 103.8 paints this picture. God is compassionate, gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love, merciful, forgiving.
It's a very tender picture.
Yeah. But here's where it gets, I think, really interesting. God's pursuing love. Hosea 11. It's described almost like parental love, like a loving father teaching his child, Ephraim, to walk, taking them by the arms, healing them, leading them with cords of human kindness, with ties of love, even bending down to feed them.
Even when they were rebelling.
Exactly. Despite the rebellion, it's this persistent, gentle, intimate love that just doesn't quit.
And it's powerful, too, to see how human love in the Old Testament sometimes reflects these divine qualities. Think about Abraham. In Genesis 22, God says, take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love. That deep affection Abraham had, it led him to be willing to sacrifice Isaac. That shows this trusting, obedient love, rooted in faith.
That's intense.
It is.
Yeah.
Or David's love for God, Psalm 18, I love you, Lord, my strength. Or Psalm 63, I thirst for you, my whole being longs for you. It's personal, grateful, dependent, worshipful, passionate. He's actively seeking God.
And Ruth. We can't forget Ruth, her loyal love that is said.
That incredible vow to Naomi in Ruth 1, where you go, I will go, your God, my God, until death separates us. It's commitment, it's loyalty in action, way beyond just feeling. It's spiritual, selfless. That is said, that covenant loyalty is just fascinating.
It really shows the depth, doesn't it? The source highlights 3 key Hebrew words here. Ahab, that's like the common word, emotional affection. Then hesed, which you mentioned, that steadfast covenant loyalty, God's unfailing love. And racham, that tender, compassionate mercy, almost like a mother's love. It's such a rich vocabulary for love.
It really is. It shows they understood its different facets.
So building on that foundation, this deep dive makes it clear. It all comes down to two huge commands right from the Old Testament. First, love for God. Deuteronomy 6, the Shema. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. It's not partial, it's total. Emotions, your whole being, all your resources. Complete exclusive devotion.
All in.
Yeah, all in. And second, just as vital, love for neighbor. Leviticus 19.18. Love your neighbor as yourself. And the principles there are crucial. No revenge, no grudges. Actively seek good for others. Treat them like you treat yourself.
And it's universal because it ends with, I am the Lord. It's a divine command.
Right.
And if you step back and connect this, you see these aren't just rules for rules' sake. They're reflections of God's own nature. They form the bedrock for all relationships, how we relate to God and how we relate to each other.
Yeah.
It's about living out who he is.
Okay, so now, moving into the New Testament, this is where, according to the source, love is really perfected, embodied in Christ, and the ultimate demonstration, the cross. John 3.16, Romans 5.8, 1 John 4.9-10. They all hit this hard. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son. That intensity, the universal scope, the sheer cost.
And Romans 5.8 emphasizes he demonstrated this love while we were still sinners.
Yeah, that's huge. It wasn't earned.
Not at all. It was God's initiative. Sending his son as that atoning sacrifice. Love defined by action.
And Jesus himself, his teachings constantly circled back to love, setting this entirely new standard.
Absolutely. Take the new commandment in John 13. Love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. That as I have loved you part, that's the game changer. It's a new measure.
How did Jesus love then, according to this?
Well, sacrificially, unconditionally, patiently, forgivingly, humbly. Completely. That's the standard he set. And he said that love would be the identifying mark of his followers.
Wow. Then there's Matthew 5, love your enemies.
Talk about revolutionary. I mean, loving those who persecute you, praying for them.
It's radical. Goes against every natural instinct, doesn't it?
Completely.
No.
But it reflects God's character. He sends rain on the just and the unjust, right? And it has the power to transform everyone involved.
And finally, John 15.13, the greatest love.
Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. The ultimate expression. Jesus demonstrated it perfectly on the cross, and it becomes this profound calling for us too.
Okay, so when people think love chapter in the Bible, they usually mean 1 Corinthians 13, Paul's masterpiece.
It's iconic for a reason.
Paul starts right off emphasizing love's supreme importance, verses 1-3. He basically says, look, you can have amazing gifts, speak like an angel, have all knowledge, faith to move mountains, give everything away. But if you don't have love, you're nothing. It accomplishes nothing.
It really puts everything else in perspective. Love isn't just like a nice bonus.
Right. It's the foundation, the absolute essential. Without it, everything else is just noise. Then he gets into love's character. Verses 4-7, that famous description. Love is patient.
Think about that one for a second. Patient, long-suffering, slow to anger, persistent. In our world, that's tough.
Yeah, patience isn't exactly celebrated, but Paul says it's core to love. And love is kind, gentle, helpful, considerate.
It protects shields, guards faults. It trusts, believes the best, gives the benefit of the doubt.
It hopes, stays optimistic, encouraging. It perseveres, endures through anything. And importantly, it rejoices with the truth. It celebrates what's right.
Stands for righteousness.
And then there's what love isn't, what it avoids. It doesn't envy, it's content, not jealous. It doesn't boast, it's humble.
Not proud, so it's teachable, approachable, doesn't dishonor others. It's respectful, courteous.
It's not self-seeking. That's a big one today. Biblical love is selfless, generous.
Right. It's not easily angered, shows patience, control. Keeps no record of wrongs.
That doesn't mean ignoring hurt, does it?
No, I think it means choosing forgiveness. Not holding on to grudges, not seeking revenge. It's about release.
Okay. And it doesn't delight in evil, but grieves over sin. It's pure.
And Paul wraps it up by stressing love's eternal nature. Verse 8, love never fails. It outlasts all the temporary things, even spiritual gifts. It just endures.
And then verse 13, the big finale. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.
Why the greatest?
Well,
Connecting back, it's because love is God's nature. It's the only quality that lasts into eternity. Faith becomes sight. Hope is fulfilled, but love remains.
that's powerful. So to add even more nuance, the New Testament actually uses different Greek words for love. The source highlights 4 main ones.
Right, helps us see the different dimensions.
First, agape. This is the big one usually. Unconditional, sacrificial, choice-based love.
Like God's love in John 3.1 scene, or Christ's for the church, even loving enemies. It's love as an act of the will.
Then Phileo. That's more like affection, friendship.
Exactly. Affectionate, emotional, friendship-based,
Mm-mm.
reciprocal, personal. Like Jesus' love for his friend Lazarus or for the disciple John.
Okay. Then Storge. That's family love, right? Instinctive.
Mm-hmm. Natural, family-based love,
Hmm?
protective, nurturing, like a parent's love, or those deep family ties like Ruth and Naomi had.
And finally, Eros. This is the one often misunderstood, I think. Passionate, romantic, physical love.
Yes, and the source stresses its place.
Mm.
Exclusive within marriage.
Ew.
Celebrated in the Song of Songs, linked to that one flesh idea from Genesis.
It's important to see it in its intended context.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is how these often integrate. A full, healthy marriage, for instance, ideally blends all four. The commitment of Agape, the friendship of Phileo, the family bond of Storge, and the passion of Eros.
They weave together.
They really do. Or think about parenting that natural Storge combined with the sacrificial choice of Agape. It paints a much richer picture than just one word allows.
Okay, so we have this incredibly rich, deep understanding of love from the source. How do we, do it? How does it apply to our lives day to day?
Right, the practical application. That's where it gets real.
It starts, according to Mark 12.30, with loving God. With all your heart worship, prayer, all your soul, your life commitment, surrender.
All your mind studying, meditating on Scripture, all your strength serving others, giving, using your talents for Him. It's holistic.
Then loving others. This breaks down further. First, love your neighbor as yourself. Mark 12.31 again.
Which looks like practical care, helping someone in need, simple kindness, forgiving when you've been wronged.
Then love one another. That new commandment from John 13, applying Christ's standard within the community.
Yeah, serving in church, resolving conflicts patiently, carrying each other's burdens, being family.
And then, maybe the hardest one, love your enemies. Matthew 5.44.
It's incredibly challenging, but it means actively praying for them, speaking well of them if possible, doing good to them, and choosing forgiveness. It's revolutionary. Love.
It really is. The source also touches on love in marriage, specifically. Ephesians 5. Husbands, love your wives.
Just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, sacrificially, cherishing, protecting, providing.
And wives, respect your husbands. Honor, support, appreciation, encouragement.
And what's key there is the reciprocity. It's mutual. Different expressions maybe, but complementary, flowing from love. It builds that partnership.
And finally, love and family. Ephesians 6. Parents, patiently train and instruct your kids in the Lord. Nurture, protect.
And children, obey and honor your parents. Respect, gratitude, support. It's that two-way street again.
So if we try to wrap this all up, what are the absolute key takeaways from this deep dive into the source?
Well, fundamentally, the essence of love is God's nature. That's the starting point and the end point. And that love is patient, kind, humble, selfless, forgiving, truthful. It protects, trusts, hopes, perseveres.
And it's expressed actively, sacrificially, unconditionally, universally, consistently. It's not passive.
Not at all.
And remember those four facets: Agape, Phileo, Storge, Eros. They help us see the different ways love manifests, how they weave together for that complete picture.
And we have to remember love's power. This source shows it covers sin, heals wounds, builds bridges, overcomes evil, creates unity, and it lasts forever. It's not just a nice feeling, it's a truly transformative force.
So the big commands remain. Love God first, others second. Love one another, love your enemies, love your spouse, love your family.
And hold on to the promises. Love never fails. It's the mark of a true disciple. It brings blessing, covers sins, brings joy, and leaves a legacy that lasts.
And it all circles back, doesn't it, to 1 John 4.19. We love because he first loved us, his love for you. That's the source, that's the power, that's the pattern. It came first.
That's the foundation for everything else.
So the real question isn't, am I lovable? God's love, according to the source, settles that forever. You are. The question becomes, will you receive that love? Will you learn from it? And will you actually live it out in your relationships every day? Because the world, it's desperate to see what real, authentic love looks like. Will you show them? Through your life, will you be living proof that God is love? Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you feel better informed, maybe a bit inspired. Until next time.